afternoon yesterday. Before we start our proceedings, may I ask our religious leaders to offer prayers. Imam C, you have the floor. Thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين وإن تستفتحوا فقد جاءكم الفتح نصر من الله وفتح قريب وبشر المؤمنين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل والله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر وسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Shukran, Imam C. Bishop Odiko, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chairman. God of mercy and of grace and of compassion and of love, we call upon you this morning, that you have mercy upon this land. Look down with your compassionate heart upon the people of this nation, the Gambia. And Lord, as we continue to listen to the evidence of witnesses, and as Lord, as we hear the atrocities that have been committed in the past, we know, Lord, that the bloods that have been spilled in this land are crying to you for justice, as the blood of Abel did cry to you for justice. Gracious and eternal Father, we ask that your healing power will heal the wounds of all those families that have been offended, that you will grant reconciliation, and you will also make the provision for reparations, and that, Lord, your justice will also fall down. We continue to pray that as a nation, that we will look up to you and be reconciled to one another, so that we will forge ahead for the common good of all that live in this land. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Bishop Odiko, for that. Council, are we ready for to get them a witness for today?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, commissioners. Good morning to you all. Yes, we are ready. The witness is waiting in the witness room. Mr. Osha, could you kindly bring him in, please?
I, Modu Laminba,
do swear that
I will speak the truth,
the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Witness.
Good morning, sir.
Are you able to proceed?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your willingness to appear before the TRRC. You have just taken the oath to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And may I just take this opportunity to also remind that it is a criminal offense to state falsehood before the TRRC. And it's also a criminal offense, of course, under the laws of the Gambia, to make a false statement while under oath. I just flag this so that we can bear that in mind as we progress.
Thank
Noted?
you, Thank you, Councillor. I'm very much aware of that.
Thank you very much, sir. Kindly tell us your full names, please.
My names are Modu Lamin Ba.
Mr. Ba, where were you born?
I was born in a village called Bureng in Jara, LRR.
What would LRR stand for?
Lower River Region.
And where did you do primary education?
Primary school.
Do you recall which year you attended Bureng Primary School?
From 1979 to 1984.
Perhaps before then, may I inquire, when were you born? What's your date of birth?
5th May 1968.
And when did you attend, or where did you attend secondary school?
Wakalindin Junior Secondary School from 1984 to 1988.
What did you do upon completion of secondary school in Pakalinding?
Immediately I joined the army.
Which year was that?
This was on the 19th April 1990.
Could you kindly speak up, please?
Sorry, you know, I have a bad voice, you know.
Could you draw the microphone closer to you?
Is that
and
okay?
Maybe lift it up a little bit. Good.
Is that okay?
I think that's better.
Thank you, sir.
Go ahead, please.
Sorry?
The question was, which year did you join the Gambia National Army? Do you recall?
19th April 1990.
Good. Where did you do your training?
I did my training at Farafenye Barracks.
Do you recall when you completed your recruit training?
Same 1990, after 6 months training, 1990, the same 90.
Where were you deployed after your training?
When we finished training, we did our pass out at Yundum Barracks. Immediately we passed out, I was posted at Kartong.
Kartong military post, right?
Yes, sir.
And what rank did you attain at this stage?
I was still a private soldier.
And for how long were you deployed at Kartong?
I was in Kartong for a period of 1 year. I came back to Yundum as infantry soldier.
In which company?
Alpha Company then, later Eco Company.
And when you returned to Fajara Barracks,
Yundum, sorry.
To Yundum Barracks, excuse my lapse. When you returned to Yundum Barracks, did you go back as regular infantry soldier, or did you move to another detachment?
Yes, I was still an infantry soldier for a period of time, later transferred to the RP unit, Regimental Police.
And what is the function of the regimental police? Can you kindly tell us?
The regimental police are in charge of discipline within the barracks.
And who was your immediate commander?
Then it was RSM Fai. It used to be RSM Fai.
And for how long did you remain at the regimental police?
I was at the regimental police until the arrival of the Nigerian NATO group.
Do you recall which year?
So this could be in 1992 because the Nigerians came in here in 1992.
Prior to the arrival of the Nigerians, what was the situation like in the army? As far as you can tell.
Yeah, to be quite honest with you, it was so terrible. It was so terrible.
You explain what you mean by that. Why was it terrible?
The simple fact that soldiers were not then recognized. They were not recognized. The simple fact is then the amount of money we were paid was very small, one, and there's no incentive attached to it.
Salaries were generally poor in the
Salaries
country.
were generally poor, and then there was no incentive, as I said. Then we were all living in the camp. We were all in the camp, living in the camp, in dormitory life.
What was the problem with dormitory life in the camp?
Well, that means you don't live outside the camp. You only have to live inside the barracks after your work, after closing from work.
Was the accommodation adequate?
It was not accommodated. It was very poor. It was, as I said, dormitory. It's an open space where you have beds, double beds, where you can have almost 30 to 40 soldiers in a particular room.
Did you have enough beds at all?
Yes, there are beds, but as I said, in the normal circumstances, a soldier should not live like that.
You would have preferred having
A better
individual accommodation?
something like that, than to be packed in in that, because the simple fact that if anybody catches disease, you can easily transmit it to others, because it's an open area where you have a bunch of people living together,
How about the food?
Generally, the food was not that much bad, because in those days, even 12 o'clock, when you break barracks, you come back 12 o'clock, you can still find food at the cookhouse where you can eat.
We have had evidence that the food was basically water chew. You did not find it that bad. Is that the case?
Yes, but then, yes, it's water chew, but then you can eat to your satisfaction. And that is what is more important. Yes.
So the food wasn't so terrible after all?
It's eatable anyway. It was eatable, just to sustain your life. Yeah. And
what were the other problems in the barracks, as far as you can tell?
There were a series of demonstrations by soldiers from missions at Liberia, complaining of their dues that they're supposed to be paid, and they are not paid. So that led to a series of demonstrations, like first contingency Liberia, the second contingency too, and the third contingency. All these soldiers went on a mission, and they came back, and they demonstrated, and they all demonstrated in the same issue, that is their dues.
What do you mean by their dues?
That means their allowances that they are supposed to be paid. We are not paid.
Were you one of those soldiers?
I've never got the opportunity to go to Liberia.
So how do you know about this?
I live with them, I work with them, and I know how they feel.
Did you witness any one of these demonstrations?
The first Liberia contingency demonstration, yes, I witnessed it.
Can you tell us what you saw?
This one morning, soldiers from Liberia convoyed to the QRF room, expecting to meet the then army commander who used to be in Daunjai. Unfortunately, they could not meet in Daunjai. The only person they could meet was Samejo Selos. Then
could you say again the next person?
Samejo Selos.
Who was Samejo Selos?
He was the British training team in the Gambia then.
Go ahead.
As they were in the QRF, waiting for the arrival of the army commander, later on, I understand that they knew that the army commander is not coming to see them. They started not murmuring until Selos started to threaten them. He fired a gun, which resulted to a chaos. They have to grab him down, took the weapon from him, and then they start going out. Anybody they can catch, they get your weapon from you. They start shooting in the air. Then from there, they jump over the fence, took a bus. They all converged in that bus. They went straight to Banjul.
Do you know what happened in Banjul?
In Banjul, later the day, they came back with, how do you call it? If my memory will serve me correct, with the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Defense then. When they came back...
Do you know who that person was at the time?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Kindly proceed, please.
All right, when they came back to the camp, they were paid their dues, then some, according to them, ringleaders who are strong-headed were discharged from the army.
How about the second demonstration?
Second demonstration.
Before that, perhaps I should ask whether there were any consequences on the leadership of the army as a result of this meeting?
When that happens, Ndaunja was immediately removed from office. Then it was, leadership position was resumed by Maba Diop.
You mean it was assumed by Maba Diop?
Yes.
All right. And then what happened? There was a subsequent demonstration.
There was still demonstration continued. Second contingency also came back, and they also demonstrated. This time around, they went up to Denton Bridge. All right. They were stopped by Colonel Sar, Samsidin Sar, then, who was then an attaché to the Defense Ministry. He was able to convince them, because he can talk. He was able to convince them. They brought them back to the camp, and then they were also later arrested, taken to Mile 2.
At what stage did the Nigerians arrive? Is it after the third demonstration?
Yes.
Or before?
After the third demonstration. That's the time the Nigerians came in.
So can you tell us what happened to your position in the army after the arrival of the Nigerians?
When the Nigerians arrived, I was immediately appointed as the orderly to Lieutenant Colonel Odu, the CO 1 Battalion.
Can you tell us what does COO mean? OCO?
Commanding Officer 1 Battalion.
What was his rank? Was it Colonel Odu or Lieutenant Colonel?
Lieutenant Colonel.
Lieutenant Colonel Odu.
Yes.
So he was Nigerian.
Yes.
He was commanding officer of the 1st Infantry Battalion.
Yes.
That's what you said.
Yes.
And you were his orderly.
Yes.
What was your role as orderly for Lieutenant Colonel Odu?
Yes, my role includes, outgoing files, incoming files. What I mean outgoing file, well, like any file he finished, he attended, he will put it in the outgoing file, and I'll come and then pick them up and then take them to the orderly room for, how do you call it?
Processing?
Yes, something like that. And also equally, I'll also be in his office. Anybody who comes in will ask me that he would like to see him, and I'll go in, announce that person's presence. When he wants to see him, he'll tell me, allow him to come in, then I will open the door for him, and then he will go inside, and then whatever they will discuss, they discuss it. And equally, if he's going out too, I go along with him too, anywhere he's going.
So that means you would be around him in most places he went to during working hours.
Yes, at all time.
Tell us about the impact of the Nigerians in the army, as far as you know.
Well, the Nigerians have they played a very important role in our life as soldiers, because when they came in, that's the time we were able to have certain incentives like transport allowances, virtually, house rent. They were the people who were able to introduce that within the system. So virtually, at the end of the day, you will see that a private soldier will receive at least 1,200, at least, yeah.
But what was the general feeling of the soldiers regarding the presence of the Nigerians in the army?
I would say the officer code, I can say they are not happy, okay? The officer code, the simple reason is they are taking command from them, okay? Wherever a Nigerian would be a commander, then the seconder could be a Gambian in most cases. So in the officer corps, they were not happy, to be quite honest, because they realized that they are making mistake, that's why the Nigerians were here in order to correct it. But as a private soldier at that time, I would have said the Nigerians, their coming was timely, because one, as I said, the welfare was definitely, put into considerations. When they came in, that's the time we have bosses lifting from soldiers from one angle to another, from workplace home, from home to the barracks, and then they also opened the door for soldiers to live outside the barracks. That is, those who are married can live outside the barracks. So, and equally, we have been trained a lot by Nigerians also. Yeah.
And as a private soldier, would you say that the training of the Nigerians was up to standard?
Sorry?
As a private soldier, would you say that the training of the Nigerians was up to standard? The training provided by the Nigerians?
No, yes, I would have said that, because, when they came in, we are all the time training. So, and then training makes a soldier, to be a good soldier. But once you don't train, it makes you lazy, and you start to think of other ways. But once you are engaged on daily basis, you don't even have time for certain things, And equally, even those who are, unfortunate to attend school, they were able to provide a literacy school for them within the camp, whereby they can teach them, they can write, and then they can be able to speak, So all those things, I see it as a stepping stone.
You saw the presence of the Nigerians as a blessing?
Well, yes, at the time.
The officer corps were not happy with that arrangement, that's what you said?
Yes, the officer corps, they were not happy.
You served under Odu as his orderly until the Nigerians left in 1994, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Can you tell us about 24th July 1994? Can you tell us what happened in Yundum Barracks, as far as you can recall?
Yeah, on the 21st of July 1994, there was a guard of honor at the airport. All right, and then the guard of honor party were at the airport.
Could you take a few steps backwards,
okay,
and tell us what the events at the barracks before you got to the airport? Where were you? How you came to be at the airport and things like that?
Okay. Well, the events that happened within the camp at that point in time, I'll not be able to tell you because I was in the office with the Odu until the time of going to the airport comes up. He came up. I went along with him, including his driver, Abduba. We went to the airport.
At this stage, did you know or did you have any idea what was going to happen at the airport?
Yes.
Can you tell us?
I knew there should be a takeover in the North Cell. How do you call it? Jemme at the time, who was armed, should have been the person who should have arrested the VIP.
But how did you know that?
I was told.
Kindly tell us the circumstances in which you were told.
All right. Like as I said earlier on, I was at the adjutant's office, Sylv Gomez. I was in his office complaining of my house allowance because.
When was this? Month? Or the full date, if you can recall?
Almost a month before, let's say.
So this must have been in June?
In June.
1994?
Most probably in June.
So tell us what happened when you went to the adjutant's office.
Yeah, because I went to receive my salary, then Hydra was the one paying. It was the duty officer paying that month, June, I can remember, yes. When I went to my pay, I saw that, the house rent was not included. And I told him that, look, why this? He said, look, but if you want, you sign. If you don't want, you leave it. This is, how I'm giving. So I knew definitely my house rent was tampered. So I went to my boss, Odu himself, and complained to him. He told me that, look, go to your Gambian brother, who is Sylv Gomez. Then he was the adjutant. I went to him. I said, sir, I went to the pay officer, but I realized that my house rent was not paid. He said yes. I said, but then that means you are not fair to me. He said, why am I saying that? I said, sir, you were also allocated a house in Bahamas and you refused to occupy it. The simple fact that you want to have that house rent. And for me, I was told because I'm working closer to a CO, so I had to be in the camp. That was the reason why I'm there. And before I come in, I even said, if I come, whether I'm going to enjoy my house rent. He said, yes, you are going to enjoy it. So now that I'm deprived, that means he's not fair with me. So as I was pushing and pulling with him, Edu stepped in at that time,
Who is Edu?
Edward Gomez, Lieutenant Edward Singate. He stepped in and then saw me. I was very angry. He told me, Bob, step out and wait for me. Step outside and wait for me. So when he finished what he was doing with the adjutant.
Did you step out?
Yes, I stepped out. I waited. When he finished with the adjutant, he came out and then asked me to go with him to his office. When we reached the office, he said,
where was his office located?
Echo Company, at Company Line. Mm-hmm. He told me about what happens, and as I said, I explained the story to him. He told me that, don't worry, we are about to plot a coup. And people like you are working, closer to a very big man, sometimes you may need certain informations which we would like you to provide. I said, that's not a problem. So I said, but when is this going to happen? He said, no, take your time, I'm just here to inform you that this is what we are up to, this is what is going to happen, And he said, when we succeed, we are going to compensate each soldier. Each soldier is going to be compensated. And furthermore, he said, that is plan A. Plan B, when it fails, they are going to assassinate all the senior officers in the army then, and then loot the central bank and then flee.
And what the central bank?
Loot the central bank and flee the country.
Who told you that?
Edward Singate.
What was his rank at the time?
Lieutenant. He was a lieutenant then.
And which company did he belong to?
He belonged to Echo Company then.
How did you agree with him? Did you agree to join the coupists?
Look,
He was enlisting you to provide information as someone close to one of the big people,
yes.
as he put it.
As you may equally know, probably then we know each other, those who are strong-headed, those who don't look back when they want to do certain things.
Were you strong-headed?
I was strong-headed, to be quite honest, in those days. I was very terrible, you know.
You were very terrible.
Very terrible.
Those are your words?
Yes, very terrible.
Okay, good.
But along the line, you know, I also try to be, you know, selective in the sense that, you know, in the sense that I have to be selective. I don't have to be, nobody use me. I don't allow anybody to use me. I have my own principles.
Let's go back to
Okay.
the subject.
Exactly.
So Edward told you that Plan B was overthrow the government, compensate all soldiers.
Yes.
Plan A. Plan B, that is if they failed in achieving Plan A, they resort to Plan B, which is assassinate all senior officers,
yes.
quote unquote, loot the central bank and then disappear.
Yeah.
That was what Edward
yes.
told you.
Yes.
And did he tell you who were to be the participants in this coup?
No, at that point in time, he didn't tell me who and who.
Did you ask him?
No, I did not ask.
And how did you conclude that meeting?
Between me and him?
Yes.
After he told me everything, then I say, okay, we are waiting to see. Then I also fall back and went back to my boss office.
At what stage did you know that 21 July was going to be the day of the coup?
As I said, you see, in coup d'etat, you don't have to have, you know, go into plans, or how do you call it, to meet whereby you discuss certain issues. Information is passed by one person to another, the whom you trust. Not everybody, is whom you trust. This is how information's passed.
At what stage did you, excuse me, you told us earlier that on 21 July, you were with Odu in his office.
Yes.
And you went with him to the airport. But at this stage, you knew that there was going to be a coup.
Yes.
So the question is, when did you know that 21 July was going to be the day for the coup?
That very day, I knew that something is going to happen.
Can you tell us how? How you came to get that information?
As I told you, that day, the ways, you know, soldiers, you know, were forming up, can easily tell you that, you know, something is going to happen. Because the mere fact that I saw Sanasabo with a jeep, with soldiers, you know, and I also saw, you know, how do you call it, this guy, Edward, also, the way he was talking to soldiers, I knew something is going to happen.
But as at the time you were leaving your office with Lieutenant Colonel Odu to go to the airport, did you know exactly what it was that was going to happen and what the plan was?
That's what I'm telling you. As I said, the plan was, the moment the president is inspecting the parade, Yajame should get hold of him, give a warning shot, who will be helped by Edward, who was at the flag bearer, who was a flag bearer within the parade. And then Sana Sabali was at the other end of the apron around Yundum end, who will come in with a force, you know, with RPGs, light machine guns, to scare the situation, to control this way. He will blow the tower, then ministers will be arrested, including the VIP himself, rushed to the camp.
Who are you referring to as the VIP himself?
Yes, the president, Jawara, the president.
When did you know that this was the actual plan that was to be executed at the airport?
Look, as I told you, this is an information that comes in, around us, within ourselves. As I said, we know each other. Information comes and goes. And definitely, even if you are not there, you know this is what has been said about the event.
So, on 21 July, as at the time you were going to the airport, you knew exactly what was going to happen?
Yes, yes.
Did you inform Odu?
No, I did not.
Why didn't you?
See, maybe I don't know other officers, but Odu played a very important role in that 1994. Odu played a very important role in 1994.
The question is, why did you not inform him? Was it because you were part of the coup?
Well, because I feel like it's not his business, and then this is my country, and then,
You wanted the coup to succeed?
Yes, I wanted it to succeed. Because the simple fact that, when a minister can stand before all of us as soldiers and say, what is this of soldiers? Maybe my dad statement.
When did that happen?
Maybe my dad statement is not within there. But as I said, when Odu used to be the CEO, he used to invite the vice president then, Sekou Sabali, at the camp to take him around the tour of the camp where soldiers pass night. And I would hear Odu tell him that this is where soldiers will pass their night. Would you like your soldier to pass night here? And Sekou Sabali in response would say, what is the use of the army? When you talk about the internal security, it's the police. When you talk about the VIP protection, it's the gendarmerie. So, but what is the use of the army? What's the use of the army? So, and that this does not go down well with a soldier. It doesn't go down well with me. And Odu will in turn tell him that, would you like to see what a soldier man can do? Yes. He will tell him this. And certainly when Dabo will leave the camp, he called everybody, the whole barracks, he will call everybody and say, see, this is what your minister said. He said, what is the use of the army? He said they were even planning to squash off the army and they will all go and be farmers there at Jahal Pachari. I run away from farming from my home to come to the army. I would not like to go back as a farmer. I don't like that. So equally, I didn't inform him, and I don't want to inform him. And I knew he knew what is going on. I knew that.
You knew that Odu knew what was happening?
Yes.
Can you tell us about it?
As I said, immediately we were from the airport,
On your way to the airport,
yes.
did you know that Odu knew what was going to happen?
Yes.
How do you know that?
Like when we were about to go, I opened the door for him to enter. He entered. I wanted to enter. He said, no, stay. I said, no, I'm going.
You were a private soldier?
A private soldier, yes.
This man was Lieutenant Colonel?
Lieutenant Colonel, yes.
The commanding officer?
Yes.
At the barracks?
Yes.
You questioned his order?
I am telling you, whether you believe it or not. I said, I'm going. Then he smiled. He said, okay, get inside. And I joined him.
And what did you make of that smile?
Well, that simply, he knew that I knew what is happening. So, and I want it to be happening in my presence.
Your assessment was
yes.
that he knew
yes.
that you also knew
yes.
what was happening.
Exactly.
That's your assessment.
Yes.
But he didn't say anything to
suggest
to you.
No, he didn't say it. He only said
that he
joined, and I joined.
Okay. So you went to the airport?
I went to the airport, yes.
And tell us what happened at the airport.
At the airport, as I said, the Guard of Honor party was assembled. The Nigerian intelligence officer, then I cannot remember his name anymore. It's an intelligence officer within the Nigerian NATO group. When he came, he inspected the whole parade. people have to cock their rifles, show their magazines. After inspecting the rifle, he came and then fridge side, body side. He said, all the guard of honor party, I was standing watching until he finished. For some time, Yajame also arrived with his military police team. He told Yajame, why are you here? Yajame told him that this is my country, it's my president. I have a right to be here. He told him that, no, you should not be here. You should only send your men, not you. Then he approached him and asked him to surrender his pistol. You know, there was a bit of, push and pull between them. But later on, he has to surrender his pistol. Then he opened his boots and then threw the pistol inside. Of course, he was there. He was there, but personally, he didn't take weapon from him. RSM was on the ground because he was the camp RSM then.
Okay, and what happened after Jame's weapon was taken away from him?
He asked the other military police personnel to surrender their weapons, and they also surrendered their weapons. And then the guard of honor party went inside the apron to wait for the arrival of the president. Immediately the president arrived. From the foot of the plane to his waiting car, they knock off. They went to Banjul.
And what happened to the soldiers afterwards?
When that happens, obviously everybody's morals were low. Everybody was thinking next, what is coming next? Because as you already know, it was not a hidden secret that something has to be happen, and it does not happen now. So when we came back to the camp, you can see soldiers returning their weapons hurriedly, going out of the barracks. I was there with Odu until, at a point where Yajame walked in and said, where is your boss? I said, he's inside the office.
What time was that?
This was just after the airport, when we come back from the airport.
What time? If you can't recall, tell us you can't recall.
So it could be around after 5, probably after 5, if my memory can serve me well. It was in the afternoon anyway, the afternoon.
And then
so Yajame walked into, he said, where's your boss? I said, he's inside. I opened the door. He went inside the office. And as he was talking, I didn't even close the door. I was standing at the door listening to what the conversation they're having.
Conversation between
Yajame and Odu.
Lieutenant Colonel Odu?
Yes.
And what did you hear?
I heard that Yajame said, sir, but it fails. He said, look, Lieutenant Jame, you know that we are not going to allow this thing to happen at the airport. He said, now that he is in his house, go after him. He said, but how? He said, remember, there was a communique that American Navy ship is here. The Army is supposed to have an exercise with them the following morning, that is Friday. Use that as an opportunity.
Who said that?
Lieutenant Colonel Odu suggested that to Yaya Jammeh.
You are on the oath, Mr.
I swear
Witness.
I am on the oath. I have no cause to lie. Okay? All what I heard, what I know, that's what I'm going to say. I said I didn't even close the door. I was standing at the door trying to know the outcome of the airport event. I was curious and I need to satisfy my curiosity. So then Yajame smiles and then he went out of the office. He locked the office. I was there with him until his time. He went back to home. I went and dropped him at Banjulunding and I also came back to the camp.
Yajame merely smiled. He did not say anything.
He didn't say anything. He just smiled and then went out.
That's your testimony?
That's my
Odu
testimony.
Told Yajame,
yes,
go after President Jawara at his residence.
Exactly.
The next day was going to be a military exercise.
Yes.
Provides perfect cover. Great
Exactly.
opportunity.
Good.
That's your testimony?
That's my testimony.
On the oath?
On the oath.
What did you do after that? After dropping Odu off at Banjulnding, you went back to the barracks?
Yes, I came back to the barracks as usual until after 2 o'clock.
But before then, did you see any gendarmerie somewhere around that area?
Yes, exactly, yeah. As I said, when we came back from the airport, we were in the office for a while. Odu walked out of the office. I was following him up. I was holding the walkie-talkie with me. As we are walking along the guard room, you know, you can hear from the communication set, names who have been announced. Lieutenant Jame, Lieutenant Edward Singate, Lieutenant Sanasabale, wherever they are seen, they should be arrested.
Do you know who was communicating that information?
No, I don't know exactly who was communicating, but I can hear these names through the radio. So as I was walking with him towards the guard room, he saw Zandams, their vehicle was patrolling our camp along Brikama Highway, going up to the STN, turn back, come, they do like that. He even asked, who are these people? They said, sorry, they are the Zandra Morris. He called President. I see it, he used his phone, called President to tell him that I'm seeing your men around my camp. If I should come out again and see them, I will order my soldiers to shoot at them. Within a while, we see Zandams withdrawing, going back to Banjul.
Then, that evening, after dropping Odu off?
After dropping Odu off, I came back to the camp. As usual, we were with our friends, hiding somewhere, having good time. You know, until
what did that entail, having a good time?
Smoking cannabis, drinking alcohol. I have to be frank enough to you. Yes, up to around 2, after 2 o'clock, we said, let's walk, take a stroll to the camp. Then we went to the camp. I was together with, if I can remember, Yusufa Jame, Obite, and some other guys. And Tol Cham, Ibrahim Cham. We take a stroll to the camp. As we reached the camp.
Where were you coming from?
From camp at the Bahamas. Sorry,
you were
Bahamas,
coming from Bahamas?
Bahamas, inside the camp.
Okay, good.
So when we reached the camp, and then we went to the guard room, QRF, to see what activity is taking place. About 5 minutes, Yajame saw face, and then Lieutenant Yajame, Edward Singate, and then Sana Sabale, they all came out and said, what are you waiting for? We said, look, we are waiting for you guys. It's okay, we are here now. I heard them ask, where is Almamo Mane? I later understand that he's the one who's supposed to snatch the keys from the armory, because he was working at the armory. He was the one who's supposed to snatch the keys. But I made to understand that he was nowhere to be seen. Basiru Kamara also, then he was the one working at the ST, Supply and Transport Unit. He was the one who's supposed to snatch the keys for the vehicles. So those people, they were nowhere to be found. So now they say, what are we going to do? We said, let's break the armory. I can see Yusufa Jame, Tol Cham, having an iron, hitting the padlock, the armory padlock, until they got broke. We get inside, we arm ourselves.
Mr. Witness, we
Yeah.
received testimony that when Sheriff Gomez, Lieutenant Sheriff Gomez, arrived
No,
in
that
the
is-
morning around 7 a.m.
Yeah, before, we
He-
don't read to that yesterday. I don't read-
Just a moment,
Okay,
hear the
okay,
question
okay.
first. He was arrested, and then his briefcase was snatched away from him, and the armory keys were then taken from his bag, and the armory was opened.
No. Before Sheriff Gomez arrived at the camp, the armory is already breaking in. It's already broken in. Soldiers were armed to their tooth. Believe me. Sheriff Gomez came shortly before we depart. Sheriff Gomez saw face. Shortly before we depart. That was towards 7. The armory was broken well before that time. Well before. The armory was broken early hours of the morning, between the hours of 2 towards 3 o'clock. It was not at that early morning. Whoever testified, probably he oversighted or he was not present at the time.
Were weapons only taken from the armory, or you had access to weapons from some other source?
No, it's only the armory that we took weapons.
How about the sentry guards?
No, the sentries are already armed. Remember, somebody who is on sentry is already armed.
Were the sentries also part of the coup, or what happened? What happened to the sentries and their weapons?
Look, at that point in time, at that night, whoever is in the camp is part of the coup. Whether you are on sentries or not on sentries, as long as you are there at that night, you are involved. Yes.
So, at around 3 a.m. or thereabout, Yusuf Ajame and others,
Ibu Cham,
Tall Cham,
Tall
you
Cham,
call
yeah,
it?
yeah,
you broke into the armory,
yeah.
and then what happened after that?
Yeah, they said take whatever you can take. And then soldiers started taking weapons. And
Did
then
you take a
ammunitions. Sir?
Did you take
Yes,
a
I
weapon?
take a weapon. I take a LMG, if I can remember.
What is LMG?
Light machine gun.
And did you take any ammunition?
Yes, I take ammunition, 100 rounds, because the magazine contained 100 rounds. And then I also had grenades with me. I have about 4 grenades. Yeah.
And then what happened?
And from there, we were there, you know, what else next to do? And then they said, vehicles now. You know, but Samba Jallo, Abduba, if I can remember, they jumped over the fence, and then they went.
Which Abduba are you referring to?
Abdul Karim Bah. Abdul Karim Bah, he was a private soldier driver at the same time.
Driver for who?
No, ST. ST.
That is service and transport.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, this Abduba equally the driver to Commander Odu. Exactly, good. Yeah.
So this Abduba was the driver to Commander
Yes,
Odu,
yes.
and you were the orderly to Commander Odu.
Yes.
And both of you were involved
Yes.
at this early stage of
Yes, yes.
right? And then
Then, you know, they jumped over the fence. You know, they came up with a truck and 2 minivans. These GPT minivans.
at what stage was Sirif Gomez arrested?
Yes,
Was
I'm coming
was
to
it
that.
before
I'm
or
coming.
after?
No, this was after.
All right.
This was after.
Okay. Go ahead.
So they came with the truck and then 2 minivans. If you can remember, in those days, the minibus normally carry their staffs early hours of the morning. Those are the 2 minibus they hijack plus a truck. And all the passengers were asked to drop down, then they drive them inside to the camp. When they arrive, Bud came out and said, "Sir, there are vehicles now." So then,
Which batch?
Samba Jallo. So,
What was his rank at the time?
private soldier.
And what work did he do specifically?
He's a driver. So
where from? Bach Samba Jallo from where? Where's he from originally?
Farato.
Thank you. Carry on, please.
Then from there, people started boarding the vehicles. They said, board the vehicles. But later on, Yajame said, hey, hold on. So we are there for almost 5 minutes or so. Then we saw a vehicle stop from Brikama going towards Serakunda. When the vehicle stopped, somebody disembarked from the vehicle and then walked across the highway. He was having what we call leket, is it? How do you call that in English? Calabash. This calabash, I understand there's a charm inside. Nassau, okay? When he came up to the fence and then he handed it over to Yajame, Yajame collected it from him. He drank some and then applied some on his face. He passed it like that.
What do you mean by he passed it like that?
Like after using it, you give it to the next person behind you. And he also applied and then pass it to the next guy. So it goes round. Some of you who are in the queue were opportunity.
So you're suggesting that some concoction was in that basket, in that calabash?
Yes, I believe.
Was being
I believe.
He drank a bit of it and
and then applied some on my face.
Some on his face.
Yeah, until it ends where it ends, you know.
Can you tell us which soldiers used that?
Well, I can say these three people: Sana Sabali, Edward Singate, Yajame, the same Yusuf Ajame, myself, Tolcham, Asusonko. You know, it goes on like that. The rest I cannot, because we are many.
But Edward Singate, he was a Christian at the time.
Yes, he was, he applied it. He applied it. Whether he believed it or not, I don't know. But he applied it.
At this stage, had Sirif Gomez already arrived at the camp or not?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
All right. Okay. So you guys...
Certainly we finished there as we are boarding the vehicles. It was towards 7, Sirif Gomez saw face. That's the time Sirif Gomez saw face. And equally, Sirif Gomez was arrested by the sentries, who actually, I cannot remember now. He was asked to double up and then jump, frog jump, up to the guard room. He was locked up. And then...
Was he the only person locked up at this time?
At that point in time, yes, if I can remember. What I've seen is I've seen Sirif Gomez being arrested.
Do you know a person called Obi Mbai?
Yeah, he was a duty officer then. That night he was in the cells.
At
Obi
what
Mbai.
stage was he arrested?
I don't know when he was arrested, but I later knew that he was in the cell because he was a duty officer that night. Obi Mbai, yes.
Did anybody say anything regarding the arrest of officers?
Within also.
As you guys were preparing to leave, did anybody say anything regarding the arrest of officers?
Yes, Lieutenant Jame said anybody who comes above their rank should be arrested and detained.
Who said that?
Lieutenant Jame.
Which Lieutenant Jame?
Yeah, Jame. Yes.
So that was an order that he gave?
He gave. So I boarded the truck because it was the last one. I boarded that one, then Jame occupied the mini bus. It was Singate occupied the mini bus. Then Sanasabal occupied the truck. Then movement start movement. As we left the camp on our way going, any government vehicle that we meet, somebody will go down and then ask you to park the car, lock the car, hand over the key. You walk until we reach Banjulinding police station. Equally the same. The police also were all put inside the cell. A soldier was asked to stay.
Where was that? Where was that?
Banjulinding police station.
Banjulinding police station?
Yes.
Okay. So Tell us in detail what happened there.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't come down the truck, but I knew, I was told that all police were put inside the cell and a soldier was asked to take charge. And we continue. When, as we are moving, we came.
Who was the commander responsible for the truck in which you were in?
Sana Sabali is the one responsible. If there is another senior man, then it's Masana Jawara. He was a corporal then. He was the only corporal in our truck.
Okay. Who else do you remember in that truck?
SFP Ba also was in the truck, but later, around Abuko Nature Reserve, I think he was trying to test his juju or what, or maybe his ND, he fired himself on his leg. So they dropped him down. He was asked to drop down to find a transport to go back to the camp. And then I was equally there with Sedabo.
Dabo?
Sedabo and Susonko, Masane Jawara. Yeah.
These were all private?
These are all private soldiers, except Masane.
All right.
He was the only corporal then. So we continue movement until Art Station.
Which art station?
Abuko Art Station.
And what happened there?
When we arrived there, the three of them get down with some soldiers. I didn't go down.
Which three?
Sana Sabali, Edward, and then Yaya Jamme, they all get down. They went inside the art station complex. Later we saw people coming out. We understand that the international line was shut down. And then all those working there were asked to vacate the premises. And some soldiers were left there. And we continued movement until we came up to this place, how do you call it, Westfield Johnson. Then the two minivans head to Banjul, the truck head to Fajara Barracks.
Who were the leaders in these two minivans?
Each vehicle is occupied by an officer, Lieutenant Yaya Jamme and Lieutenant Edward Singate.
And the truck?
And the truck led by Sana Sabali.
So you were in the truck?
Yes.
What did your group do upon arrival at Westfield?
We also peeled over to go to Kairaba Avenue towards Bakau Barracks. We go up to Fajara and then turn towards MRC, towards the Bakau. As we reach the beginning of the camp, at the beginning of the camp, a section was dropped in order to enter through the training school. That's the section I dropped in. I was within that section led by Masane Jawara.
Who led that group?
Masane Jawara.
Masane Jawara.
Yes.
And he was corporal?
He was a corporal then.
Okay. And the other group?
And the other group also went the other way. Probably they might use the main gate, I don't know. But they might use the main gate, probably.
Who led that group?
Sana Sabali was with that group.
And then tell us what happened after that.
So as we entered the training school, we found, I think, a training session going on there. Police and the NSS then. Then they were all arrested, escorted. As we are also moving towards the administrative area, you can hear gunshots. But I will not take them seriously because they are not, even if they are directed to me, they are not, it's not harmful. These are people who are firing and withdrawing. So it's not an opposition anymore. They are trying to find their way out. So as we reached to the administrative block, already Sana and others were there. The truck was parked there. All those who were arrested at the training school, including those who were found at the administrative area, were all put in that truck. All right? And they were asked, Sana told them to escort the truck to Yundum Barracks for possible detention. This is where I was until Sana Sabala had him talking to, because then we all have walkie-talkies. He called the other party, that is Edward, and then Yaya Jammeh to find out where they are. They said they are at the Denton Bridge. He said, okay, why? He said they are stopped there by some, Sandra Morris, his house, and also boarded vehicle with his team, and then he went towards the Denton Bridge.
Did he change vehicles or he went in the
No, he
truck?
changed the vehicle, yes. He went with a pickup this time around, if I can remember, pickup. Because that truck that brought us went back to Yundum. So obviously, he changed vehicle. He went with a pickup. Nissan Patrol, or I think Nissan Patrol. Nissan Patrol.
And how about your group? What happened to your group?
Yeah, as he was stepping out from Fire Barracks, he called the most senior man and myself and said, take charge while we are away. We said, all right, sir. Then we start to post sentries. Myself, I was posted at the bar gate. If you are coming from Newtown and the bar gate, that's where I was posted. And this is where we remain.
How about the other people you were with?
Yes, they were deployed within the camp at the strategic points where people enter, entry points. They were also sent there in order to control those areas.
You mentioned somebody called Said Dabo.
Yes.
Did he remain in the camp?
Yes, he remained in the camp. I was with him there.
Okay. So for how long did you remain in Fajara Barracks?
Yeah, we were in Fajara Barracks Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I believe there was an announcement of council members. Then a week later, there was a communique also that all soldiers should return to barracks. Then I went back to Yundum Barracks.
And this time, when you went back to Yundum Barracks, there was already a new government in place, right?
Yes, yes.
And that's the council you're referring to?
Yes.
Who were the members of the council, as far as you can recall?
Yeah, the council members was Yaya Jammeh, the chairman, the vice chairman, Lieutenant Sana Sabali. Then the defense minister was Lieutenant Edward Singate. Local government minister was Yankuba Toure. Interior minister was Sadibu Haidara. Then.
So when you went back to the camp, which position did you go to?
I still remain as a regimental police, as I said earlier on. That's where I was.
For how long?
I was there until this guy, Babakar Jammeh was appointed as the army commander. When Babakar Jammeh was appointed the army commander, that's the time, he requested for me to be his orderly. Not through signal message as usual in the army, but this time around it was a verbal message, because then Maron was the CO, 1 battalion. Maron don't know me, he was a gendarmerie before. After takeover, he came to the army. He said he was looking for me almost 2 days, asking for me. The time he came to the guard room, he found me sitting. He said, who is Bah? They told him, sir, he's the one sitting down. He said, since yesterday I've been looking for you, I could not see you. Babu Krajata is calling me. He said, nobody's going to be his orderly. You are the only one who's going to be his orderly. Then he asked me to come, to go with him. We entered a car, his car. He drove me to Banjul. That was on the 8th of November, 1994, if I can remember very well, yeah.
But before this date, what was the mood of the soldiers in Yundum Barracks?
Well, soldiers were not really happy because the promise made to them was not fulfilled.
What was the promise made to them?
The promise, as I said earlier on, was they will compensate each soldier when they succeed. And they succeeded. And there's nothing like that coming forward. So soldiers were not definitely happy. Grumbling, people were grumbling. Anywhere you have 2 or 3 people sitting down, that's the issue they are talking about, whether you know it or not.
And yes, they were saying they were not compensated as promised.
Yes.
But what else were they saying about that?
Yeah, equally, they were saying, let's change government, let's change it again. We are the people who put them there, we can still change them. Yes, that rumor also was going on. It was not even a rumor anymore because, you know, we formed the bulk majority, we formed the bulk of the majority. Yeah, as I said earlier on, it's only Yundum that participated in that coup d'etat, and you know, even in the coup d'etat itself, not everybody was involved. Most of the senior officers, they all ran away. Officers, they all ran away. It's only junior ranks, from private soldier, lance corporal, the highest corporal, the highest criminal corporal. So that means not everybody is involved. Okay, and definitely the same soldiers are still in Yundum again, and they're not satisfied. They're not happy. Because they have seen that already, they have changed their life. Their life is already changed, and still our life continues to be the same. Yeah.
As far as you know, were there any meetings in which the soldiers discussed this particular issue?
Myself, I've attended a meeting, I think on 2, or if I may remember, 2 occasions. Okay.
Where were those meetings held?
We normally converge. See, if you one time visited Yundum, behind the camp, you have this lemon.
Lemon?
A big farm of lemon is behind there. That's normally where we normally go and hide and then smoke our weed and then discuss our issues. I attended on 2 occasions on a meeting there.
Can you tell us who are the soldiers you can recall who were present during these meetings?
I can remember myself being there, Lamin Bojang, Basiru Kamara,
Which Basiru Kamara?
The dead Basiru Kamara, the late Basiru Kamara.
What was his rank?
He was a sergeant, staff sergeant or sergeant.
Okay, and who else?
And then Ansu Sonko. Yes, I think I can remember these people.
Do you know a person called Alaji Kanyi?
Yes, exactly, Alaji Kanyi. Yes, he used to be part of the meeting. And
were any officers present during these meetings?
no, even if officers are meeting, we will not be privy to that meeting. Okay, everything in the army is done according to how it's supposed to be done. Officers talk among themselves, men talk among themselves, and there will be somebody who's going to link them. You understand?
So you, Kanyi, Bojang, and others, what were you talking about?
Equally, as I said, you know, they asked us to help them until when they succeeded. When they succeeded, they will compensate each and every soldier. And almost how many months now? July, August, September, October, still now nothing has happened. 3 months, nothing has happened. And in fact, we understand that, you know, there are bodyguard teams or what were compensated. Whether that is true or not, I don't know. Those who were with their escort teams were given something. Whether it is true or not, I don't know. Okay, so definitely we are not happy with that.
So your meetings with Kanyi and Co., was that just to vent your frustrations?
Exactly.
But was it really a plan to overthrow?
Yes, it was planned to. It went further to say that, you know, we remove them and replace others. Yes.
But who was to lead that operation?
Well, until then, I don't know exactly who's supposed to lead. I didn't know exactly then who's supposed to lead. Because on the 8th, as I said, I was transferred from Yundum to Army headquarters. So since I left on the 8th, I also found back attending meetings because I realized that I was no more at 1BN anymore. So it doesn't make any sense for me to take part in any of their meetings.
Okay, so you are now transferred to be orderly for Mr. Babukar Jata.
Babukar Jata, yes.
Can you take it from there? Can you proceed?
All right. I think on the 10th of November, we were on a meeting at Yundum with council members.
Who were you with?
We were with, Sana Sabali.
Can you take it from after you reported to work at Army headquarters?
Yes.
That morning of 10th?
Exactly. When I reported at the work, and then I was escorted to Babukar Jata's office by late Lieutenant Barrow, who was the administrative officer then. He told me, "But are you not promoted still now?" I said, "Sir, no, I'm not promoted." He said, "No, but you should be promoted." I said, "Well, I'm not promoted." Barrow, he knew me and I knew him. We are all from Jara. I came into the army and met him there. So he took me to Lieutenant Colonel Babukar Jata's office. When I appeared, he told Babukar, "Sir, is this the one you are referring to?" He said, "Yes, he's the very one." So starting from that day on the 8th, I was with him, going to work, pick him up. But the funny thing of all is, in the normal circumstances, I should not be alone with him, because when he was changing Dada, Dada was with three oddlies. But then, for me alone to be his oddly, that was not normal to me, and it was not usual. And as the verbal, it's supposed to be on signal message that so and so to be my oddly, but verbal communication or telephone conversation, that one become very abnormal to me. The simple fact is, before the takeover, we had an exercise at Kudang exercise. So during the break, lunch period, I was serving senior officers within the tent. Then Babukar Jata was a captain then. He told me in our local language that Bam Mfolo Saf. I told him that, "Sir," he said I should serve him first. I said, "Sir, I'm coming to you when I finish with the senior men, because then you have brigadiers, you have major generals, you have lieutenant colonels." He was just a captain. So I'm not crazy to serve him first while others are sitting down. So but he further went on saying that in our local language, this time around, he's also avoiding for Nigerians to hear what he's talking to me. He said, "Ba foite malete fonsi doko kenan te kotolabang."
You just lost me, my friend.
Yeah.
Could you say that again a bit slowly?
He said,
and then we will translate it.
I said, he told me, "Ba, follow Saf." I said, "Sir, mbatunga, senior man will follow Saf follow," and from there, let me interpret that in English. He said, "Ba, serve me first." I said, "Sir, let me finish with the senior men first, and I'll come back to you." He said, "Ba, didn't you know that you yourself can walk under me?" I said, "Yes, I can walk under you." So equally, when I was transferred to his office, along the line, if you are going, he will still remind me, "Ba, can you remember that Kudang exercise?" I said, "Yes, I can remember it." He said, "Didn't you see what I was saying?" I said, "Yes, it's your time now. It's your time. And I will do my best to serve you." So, but that became very odd to me. So it simply means that I'm there on a punishment basic. That's what I see the thing. So this is where I was until on the 10th of November. All right. We went alongside with the council members to Yundum. Edward Singer, Sana Sabali was there. Lieutenant Edward Singate was there. Sadibu Haidara, Lieutenant Sadibu Haidara was there. Yankuba Ture was there too.
How about their entourage?
Yes, they were with their escorts. No,
Names, please.
Sana Sabali, JCB Mendy was with him. Babu Karanjai was with him. B. Njai was with him.
You have Babu Karanjai, you have B.A. Njai.
Yes, I know all of them.
Babu Karanjai, did he have an alias? Another name by which he's
Babu
known?
Karanjai, Dichep, he's my badmate. He's my badmate. I know him very well.
Do you say?
Dichep, Babu Karanjai.
Dichep, you
Yes,
say?
Dichep.
Dichep. Why Dichep? What does
Because
that
he likes, he dressed very immaculate, and then he liked party, party, they call it Dichep. Yeah, and then...
Is Babu Karanjai Dichep the same as Njai Ponkal?
Yes, it's the same Njai Ponkal. Yeah.
And go ahead.
Then you have...
And then you have B.A. Njai. And then
yes, you have B. Njai too. And then you have Jakaria Dabo. The driver was, I think, Dembo Jiba. If I can remember. The other driver was Zandra Mori. I'm not used to him that much. Very small man. Conte. I don't know his first name. Yes, this we are with Sana Sabali. And then Edward used to be with Bachsamba Jallo, Lamin Marong, Mustafa Toure.
Nickname? Any nickname?
Churo.
Okay,
Churo.
go ahead.
Yeah, so Hydra used to be with Lamarana Bari. Yes, Lamarana Bari used to be with Hydra. Then Yankuba Toure used to be with Esa Mendy.
Yeah, that's good enough. So, and then...
Yeah. We were at the camp for a meeting.
What time did you get to the camp, as far as you can recall?
I'm sure it was after 12 o'clock. After 12, I may remember very well. After 12, we were at Yundum Barracks. They meet soldiers first. When I mean soldiers, from senior NCOs down to private soldiers. At the company line, they called in a meeting, everybody converge. So Sana spoke first. He said they are aware of a planned coup, and they are asking people who are involved to desist from it. If not, it's going to be. They are not going to take the matter very light with them. Then from there, Edward also spoke. He stood up and said, he's the defense minister. If anything goes wrong in the army, he's the one responsible. He fired even two shots in the air, which does not go down well with other soldiers. Soldiers started murmuring, started saying, they came here to threaten people, And then also from there, Edward, this guy, Hydra also spoke. He said, I think it's a military government, they're under sanction. They cannot touch any institution. Once it is touched, it's going to be affected, something like that. But they all spoke. Then from there...
Who do you mean by all?
I mean the 4 council members, they all spoke at that meeting. Then from there, they went to meet the officers also at the ante room.
Mr. Witness, can we push pause for the time being and go for the first break? Mr. Chair, it's 11:30. We go now for the first break and then we return at a time determined by the chairman.
Thank you very much, Council. I hope the record keepers would help us perhaps put together a compendium of nicknames, Churro, Cheb, Punkle. Can't keep track of him at some point. But, we'll take a 30-minute break, come back at 12 noon. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.